My wife cheated with my brother and my own mother helped them hide it. So I disappeared. Nathan Hale tightened his grip on the steering wheel as he pulled into the driveway of his grand suburban estate. The house, a symbol of years of ruthless ambition and calculated success, now felt tainted. Something was wrong. For weeks, unease had gnawed at him. His wife, Cassandra, had grown distant. Her laughter, once genuine, now felt rehearsed. Late-night calls, sudden business trips, and unexplained luxury purchases had all built a case in his mind, one that he had yet to prove. Tonight, however, the final piece had fallen into place. Cassandra's black BMW was parked haphazardly in the driveway, unlike her usual precision. The garage door was slightly ajar, another inconsistency. Nathan's mind, trained to detect the subtlest deviations in financial reports and corporate strategies, knew better than to dismiss these signs. His heart pounded as he stepped out of his Range Rover, his polished shoes crunching against the gravel. With his briefcase in one hand, he reached for the front door. As he inserted his key, the hushed voices inside abruptly ceased. Nathan stepped into the dimly lit foyer, his sharp eyes scanning the scene before him. The air carried the faint scent of red wine and expensive perfume. In the kitchen, Cassandra sat at the marble island, a glass of Merlot in front of her. Her phone lay face down, an unusual habit for someone who never ignored messages. "You're home early," she said, forcing a smile. Her voice had a clipped edge, one he had never heard before. "The markets closed early today," Nathan replied, loosening his tie. He studied her closely. Her makeup was flawless, but the tension around her eyes betrayed her. She avoided his gaze, focusing instead on the swirling liquid in her glass. Before he could press further, a voice came from the hallway. "I'll handle dinner," said Eleanor Hale, his mother. Nathan turned sharply, surprised to see her. His mother rarely involved herself in their daily lives, preferring the quiet comfort of her guest house on the estate's far end. Yet here she was, stepping into the kitchen as if she belonged. "Mother," he said carefully, "I didn't know you'd be joining us tonight. Can't a mother check in on her family?" Eleanor's tone was deceptively light, but Nathan recognized the veiled criticism. "You work such long hours, Nathan. Someone needs to keep Cassandra company." The words stung, a deliberate jab at his commitment to his work. But something about the way Eleanor and Cassandra exchanged glances unsettled him even more. Instead of engaging, he retreated. "I'll be in my office." As he walked down the hall, his mind churned through the signs, the whispers, the secrecy, the quiet power shift he hadn't seen coming. Years of experience had taught him that betrayals didn't happen overnight. They were carefully orchestrated, layer by layer, until the truth was buried so deep that only those who knew where to dig could find it. And Nathan was about to start digging. Nathan sat in his office, fingers steepled under his chin as he stared at his computer screen. The quiet hum of his estate settled around him, but inside his mind, a storm raged. He had built an empire by recognizing patterns, seeing the shifts in numbers, market trends, and human behavior before anyone else. Yet somehow, in his own home, deception had grown right under his nose. A notification blinked on his phone. A $5,000 charge at the Street Regis Hotel. His jaw tightened. He hadn't stayed there. Neither had Cassandra. At least, not for any reason she had shared with him. Nathan exhaled slowly, controlling his rising anger. He needed facts. He needed proof. Reaching for his phone, he made a call. "Collins Investigations," a crisp voice answered. "Sarah Collins?" "Speaking." "I need your services. Discretion is paramount." "Understood, Mr. Hale. What are we looking at?" "My wife," he said flatly. "I want to know everything." There was a brief silence. "Consider it done." Nathan ended the call and leaned back in his chair. This wasn't just about infidelity. It was about control. If Cassandra was hiding something, then someone else was pulling the strings. And Nathan intended to cut those strings before they tightened around his neck. The next morning, Cassandra left early, claiming a breakfast meeting. Nathan watched her drive away, then retrieved his laptop. A private investigator could find out the details, but Nathan had resources of his own. He accessed his financial records and started digging. Within minutes, the discrepancies became clear: hidden transactions, obscure wire transfers, luxury purchases far beyond what Cassandra's personal accounts could justify. And then there were the offshore accounts, masked under fake investment portfolios. His stomach turned as he found a familiar name attached to them: Lucas Hale. His younger brother. Nathan clenched his fists. Lucas had always been reckless, always the golden child in their mother's eyes, despite his string of failed ventures. Eleanor had spent years covering for him, bailing him out, making excuses. And now, it seemed, she had helped him steal from Nathan himself. His phone vibrated. A message from Sarah Collins. "Meet me at my office. You need to see this." Nathan stepped into Sarah Collins' downtown office, his expression unreadable. She handed him a file, her face grim. "They've been thorough," she said. "Shell companies, fake investments, but there's no doubt. Your wife and brother are in this together." Nathan flipped through the pages, his pulse steady despite the rage burning beneath. Financial records, surveillance photos, late-night meetings, hotel stays. The final blow came when he reached the last page. Eleanor Hale, listed as a silent partner. His own mother had helped them hide it. Nathan closed the file. His voice, when he spoke, was calm. "Document everything. I want to know their next move before they make it." Sarah nodded. "What do you want to do?" Nathan smiled, a cold, calculated smile. "I'm going to disappear." Nathan Hale was a man who planned his every move. He didn't act on impulse. He executed strategies with precision. He began transferring assets, moving his wealth into untouchable trusts. Accounts linked to Cassandra and Lucas were quietly frozen. Legal proceedings were set in motion, but silently, without public notice. Then he vanished. No calls, no contact, just an empty house where his presence once loomed. Days turned into weeks. Cassandra and Lucas panicked. The money was locked. Credit cards declined. Their carefully crafted web of deceit unraveled with every passing day. Eleanor tried to maintain control, but the banks were unyielding. The family's wealth, Nathan's wealth, was slipping through their fingers. And then the authorities came knocking. Nathan watched it all from the shadows. Cassandra's failed attempts to salvage their finances. Lucas' desperate dealings trying to offload family heirlooms. Eleanor's quiet realization that she had backed the wrong son. And then, when they were at their lowest, when every safety net had been cut, he returned. The confrontation was swift, cold, brutal. "You thought I was weak," Nathan told them. "You mistook my trust for ignorance. Now you'll understand the price of betrayal." Cassandra and Lucas were left ruined. Eleanor, once so sure of her control, found herself alone. Nathan Hale didn't just reclaim his empire. He built something new, something stronger. A legacy forged not from trust, but from power. Nathan stood at the top of the Hale Foundation Tower, overlooking the city. His empire had grown beyond his wildest ambitions. His enemies had faded into obscurity. Cassandra and Lucas had tried to rebuild, but every path led to dead ends. Eleanor's name had long since been forgotten. And Nathan? He had become a legend, a force, a name that commanded fear and respect in equal measure. Betrayal had cost him once. It would never happen again.